Alright, now we're going to take a look at a franchise. Um, they were the St. Louis Rams, LA Rams. They are the Los Angeles Rams, though. It's just very hard to say that when they've been the St. Louis Rams for a while. So, for me personally, I'm like, oh, I gotta be careful of how I say the team's name. They are the Los Angeles Rams as of right now, once again. And overall, this is an old team. They were established not a direct day, not a direct month, but 1936. So they've been around for 81 years. The first season was 1936. Now, they played in the Los Angeles Moore Coliseum in Los Angeles, California, and they're headquartered in Agoura Hills, California. They were part of the AFL in 1936, and it moved to the NFL in 1937. They've been to the NFL since 1937. Now they're in the Western Division from 1937 to 1949, the National Conference from 1950 to 1952, went to the Western Conference from 1953 to 1969, and were in the NFL Coastal Division from 1967 to 1969. Now, they were in the NFC. They've been in the NFC since 1970, and they've been in the NFC West since 1970. Now, their team colors are Millennium Blue, New Century Gold, and White. Their mascot is Rampage. Now, the owner and the chairman are Stan Kroenke, general manager Les Snead, and head coach Sean McVay, which is a very, very young head coach. Now, they were the Cleveland Rams from 1936 to 1942. They were suspended in 1943. Then from 1944 to 1945, back to Cleveland. And then the Los Angeles Rams from 1946 to 1994. In 95, they went to St. Louis till 2015 and have since 2016 arrived back in LA. Now, some of their nicknames goes in the 60s as Fearsome Foursome. 1991, 2001, they were the greatest show on turf. And as of right now, from 2015, they're called the Mob Squad. So we'll see how that goes. Now, they've won 3 championships league-wise, 2 NFL championships, which is pretty much the Super Bowl of now. And they won that in 1945 and 1951. And they also won 1 Super Bowl championship in 1999. It was 34, and they won against the Tennessee Titans. Fantastic show. They've had a fantastic offense. They won 6 conference titles, NFL National from 1950 and 1951, NFL Western 1955, and they won the NFC in 1979, 1999, and 2001. Now, 16 division titles, NFL West 1945, 1949, NFL Coastal 1967 to 1969, and the NFC West 1973 all the way to 1979, 1985, 1999, 2001, 2003, and 2017. And playoffs 28 times, 1945, 1949 to 1952, 1955, 1967, 1969, 1973 to 1970 to 1980, 1983 to 1986, 1988, 1989, 1999 to 2001, 2003, 2004, and 2017. They played in Cleveland Stadium from 1936 to 1937 and 1939 to 1941, but 1937 they were in League Park. They were also in Shaw Stadium in 1938, and they went back to League Park in 1942. League Park, they were in 1944 to 1945, as well as Los Angeles Moore Coliseum. They were there in 1946 to 1979, moved to Anaheim Stadium from 1980 to 1994, went to Bush Memorial Stadium from 1995, the Dome at America Center from 1995 to 2015, moved now back to Los Angeles Moore Coliseum ever since 2016, and they're planning for Los Angeles Stadium, planned for 2020 for him. But yeah, no, this is a team that's looking on the rise. They're a fantastically great-looking football team this year. They have the ability of being contenders, and time will tell. But I do believe that they will go very, very far. All right, let's kick off a pretty powerful offense with the quarterback that had led that offense, Kurt Warner, a 2-time MVP, Super Bowl champion, 2-time All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler, most importantly, a Hall of Fame quarterback. A guy that's, he's been through a lot, and well, he deserves what he got. He went from, bagging groceries, making like, I don't know, 10 an hour, 9 an hour or something, and became an NFL player and became just an exceptional leader, Hall of Fame quarterback. That's what you need. He's done so many great moments for St. Louis, so many great moments for Arizona. Led them both to Super Bowls, He's been to the Super Bowl 3 times, so he knows how to get there with the right tools, with the right, offense, with the right system. Again, he also won the MVP of the Super Bowl in 1999. He won the Walter Payton Man of the Year in 2008. He also won the 1999 Burt Bell Award for being the Player of the Year in the NFL. So it's a good start to this really fantastic offense. So it's just going to get even better. Now, something this Rams team is very well known for is their running backs and what they've done with their running backs. First of all, they've had some of the greatest running backs of all time on this team. And why don't we start with the fullback? Here's the thing. I'm doing something very unique to this team. There have been 3 unique running backs for this team. Okay? One guy's picture right here, Steven Jackson, Eric Dickerson, and Marshall Faulk. So what am I going to do? I'm going to have a fullback, and I'm going to have 2 running backs, one on the left side and one on the right side, each there. So it's going to be a unique, I'd say it's going to be a unique thing. It's going to be a wonderful thing to do, let me tell you. Is it going to be a little bit of a risk? Yes, because I'm not putting a tight end. I'm just putting 2 running backs on each side. I can, motion all these running backs anywhere I want, or fullback, anything, right? I'm not going to have a tight end. Just letting you know that right now. I'm not going to have a tight end. I just don't think there has been a fantastic tight end for the Rams for me to put them on there. And why not put the 3 greatest running backs there, right? Not the 3 greatest running backs, but 2 of them are phenomenal. One, he's had some productive years, and, if he didn't get so, burnt out, I feel like he definitely would have made a big difference in that race. But he should be a Hall of Famer someday. Anyway, we're going to start with fullback Steven Jackson. 3-time Pro Bowler, a guy that's ran for 11,000 plus yards. He's had his fair share of rushing touchdowns. He's also had his fair share of receiving numbers. Everything about him, phenomenal job. Playing in St. Louis, Atlanta, and New England. He's a Ram for life, though. He's done it in the early 2000s with them. And, yeah, he's a guy that you don't want to mess with. Steven Jackson is a superstar. Was a superstar. And I think he will be a superstar with this team. Give him the football, of course, he's a boulder. So, him, and, it only gets better from here on out. On the left side, we're going to have, like I said, one of the best running backs of all time. A guy that's set the rushing yard record in a season, 2,105. That's not going to be broken unless you're Adrian Peterson, and he was so close for that. He was so close to breaking that. It was like 8 yards away from that, right? But knowing that, unless we get this superhuman guy that, he can do just that, that's just going to take a lot of effort. He's had a lot of carries with it. He's done a lot of great things with what he's done, rushing for over 13,000 rushing yards. He's one of the top in there. Definitely, top 5, top 10, of course. Top 5, that's questionable, but he's up there. And, the ability to catch as well. He's got that ability as well. So, overall, it's what you need. He's a big running back. He's a Hall of Famer, 6-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro. He's been there before. He's done that. He's dominated. He's been Offensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year. He's been in the All-Rookie team in 1983. He's a part of that All-Decade team in the 80s. So overall, yeah, this is scary. He's going to be on the left side. On the right side, that's going to be a different story. Yeah, the other running back is going to be Marshall Faulk, which, in my opinion, is top 5 all time. What he's been able to do has been phenomenal. On the receiving end, yes, he can catch. And that's something that I'm going to use as more. Eric Dickerson's definitely going to run a lot more. He's going to be more there than, Marshall Faulk can be motioned a lot more. Steven Jackson can be motioned a lot more. Eric Dickerson's like a true running back where he can catch it, but he's not as gifted as Marshall or Steven, right? But Marshall Faulk is a Hall of Famer, first of all. He's a 7-time Pro Bowler. He's a 3-time All-Pro. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's an MVP. Played in Indianapolis, and he played in St. Louis. Those are his 2 teams. And what he did was he had 100 rushing touchdowns, which is hard to do. He had 12,000 plus rushing yards. Played in over 150 games. And to get 767 receptions total, I mean, some receivers don't even get that in their career. So the fact that he's able to do that's something else. He's won the Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's won the Offensive Player of the Year. He's been the MVP of the league. You know, he's been, Offensive Player of the Year again in 1999 and 2001. He also won the Burt Bell Award for being Player of the Year in 2001. He won the Offensive Player of the Year in 2000 as well. He was a part of the '94 NFL Rookie Team. I mean, you just got three fantastic Hall of Fame caliber superstars. So you have a Hall of Fame QB and Hall of Fame running backs here. It's gonna be quite deadly to see who's going to get the ball when. And that's something that's gonna have everyone of this defense searching for. Okay, is it gonna be Steven Jackson? Is it gonna be Eric Dickerson? Is it gonna be Marshall Faulk? It's gonna be a question for debate. It's gonna be hard. Now, this offense is gonna be so good on the running side that they're going to rely on two receivers, right? I'm okay with that because their first receiver on the big side, Torrey Holt, 7-time Pro Bowler, an All-Pro, a Super Bowl champion, a guy that's dominated the league, should be a Hall of Famer very, very soon. I hope he is. He deserves that because he's caught 920 balls for over 13,000 receiving yards, 74 receiving touchdowns. Just a fantastic threat, a guy that you really want to make sure you want to cover him as much as possible, or else he is going to dominate you. He's gonna slice you up, and he's gonna make you pay. 1999 NFL Rookie Team, even was a part of that second team of being the All 2000s team. This is a guy that you want. Now, he's not as good as the other receiver that we have, but don't underestimate Torrey Holt. Torrey Holt was phenomenal in his career. The other receiver is another guy that's going to be a Hall of Famer in Isaac Bruce, 4-time Pro Bowler, a Super Bowl champion. He phenomenal, just a phenomenal job because he's caught over 1,000 receptions, over 15,000 receiving yards, 91 receiving touchdowns. Guy that, you can give him the ball at running. He's not, going to get the most yardage, but he's been able to use his legs. He's a fast dude, and a guy that's very much so another guy you got to cover. So this is why I believe this offense will give a lot of defense headaches. Not only do you have to cover Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt very well, right? You also have to make sure that Marshall Faulk, Steven Jackson, and of course Eric Dickerson are, they're maintained, right? But at the same time, Kurt Warner also can use his legs. Kurt Warner can do a lot of things. Don't underestimate their entire team. They have the ability of being very good, and it's going to be scary to see this offense at work with all these guys together. All right, left tackle, Orlando Pace, Hall of Famer, 7-time Pro Bowl, a 3-time All-Pro, a Super Bowl champion, a very big part of this offensive line, this offensive leadership from his standpoint, a big time reason of St. Louis's success on that line, covering Kurt Warner's blind side on that side, He's going to do just that. He's played in 169 games, started 165 of them, very valuable lineman, and one of the best left tackles of all time. So, Orlando Pace is going to do a great job there. Don't doubt him. Do not doubt him at all. He's a big man, so he's going to get it done. Now, the left guard is Tom Mack, Hall of Fame guard, 11-time Pro Bowler and All-Pro. Dominated the 60s and the 70s. Played in 184 games. He knows what he's doing. Did he win a Super Bowl? No, but he knows what he's doing. He's gone to the Pro Bowl so many times, and really he's been able to embarrass some defensive linemen. Let me tell you, like they might try to be like, oh, I think I got him, just put you on your butt, in the ground. So, not afraid is what I'm seeing from this line. Now, center, Doug Smith, a center that was a 6-time Pro Bowler, guy that played center pretty much his entire career, played with the Rams, 70s into the 80s and the early 90s. He started in 160 games and played in 187 of them. And yeah, just a valuable guy. Again, reliable offensive lineman is exactly what you're looking for. It's exactly what you're getting with these guys right now, as of right now. All right, now the right side is very important, and the right side is going to be Charlie Cohen, a three-time Pro Bowler that played for the Rams from 1961 to 1975 and played 206 games, started in 136 of them, recorded-wise, and yeah, a big guard. So, from what I can see, it's going to be a very big line. So, thinking about maybe you can tackle these guys easily as easily as you can possibly think, which is really hard because Eric Dickerson, Marshall Faulk, Steven Jackson, they're very hard to bring down, right? But you think maybe it's going to be easy. This line's going to make it pretty hard for you. And just honestly, it will. It's a big line. All right, closing out the line and closing out the offense, we got he's going to be right tackle or left tackle, does not matter. Jackie Slater, Hall of Fame player, 7-time Pro Bowler, played for L.A., St. Louis, whatever you want to call it. St. Louis, it was St. Louis in 95, but for the most of the time it was L.A. He started as a Ram in 1976. He walked out in 1995 as a 41-year-old. He walked in there as a 22-year-old. So a guy that's played many, many years, 211 starts, 259 games that he played. Yeah, his value is very high up. A part of the all 1980s team as Pro Football Reference. But yeah, no, I mean, this is a very valuable guy. You need valuable assets. You need key guys. You need guys that can stay healthy, of course, to be a fantastic team, right? And that's what they got. That's literally what they got. Is right now they have themselves a phenomenal and big line, phenomenal offensive players. It's going to be hard stopping this team scoring points.